So this is in response to the question about how to take a outline font and turn it into an applique. So I am here in TruE Create, and I believe the same thing will happen over in TruE, the original TruE version, that you can do this. So I'm going to go under Edit, go down to Insert, and choose Insert Lettering. And I went to my collection, Wild West, and found the Jupiter font. And I'm going to do the letter, I'll do the letter D. And I'm doing the letter D because it has a hole in the center. I'm going to go ahead and set this to about 80 millimeters tall, which is a little over 3 inches. I'm going to click the Insert button, close that, and I'm going to kind of move that to the center just so it's there. And what I'm going to do, and I'm going to do this in a couple of steps. So notice in the film strip I have that blue that was already there, and then when I brought in the letter, it had the color stop for the letter and a triple stitch for each of the outlines, the inside and the outside line. First thing I'm going to do is figure out what I want this to look like when it's done as an applique. So I'm going to change this from a triple stitch. I just selected them in the film strip, right clicked, and went to the properties. And I'm going to change this to a satin line at a width of about 4 millimeters. That's kind of 4 to 6 is kind of where I fall for satin stitches when you're doing an applique. You could also do a motif line if you'd rather, but however you want to do that. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit. So this is what our letter basically is looking right now. The one tricky thing I'm noticing is our satin lines are overlapping a little more. That's going to be kind of hard to do with the fabric. So I'm going to just click in the film strip on this bottom one, and notice it still has box select. If it didn't, if I went under edit and went down to box select, then I could do this. And I'm just going to resize this circle a little bit, just kind of eyeball it so that I feel like I could cut those out. There we go. So now I've got the letter basically the way I want it. On the film strip, I'm going to select both of these, and I'm going to go edit, copy. Now I'm going to go up to the blue color stop, so back at the beginning, go edit, paste. With these two still selected, I'm going to right click on them. Got to finish that box select, make sure they're both selected. So I did that by clicking on the first one, holding down the shift key on my keyboard, clicking on the second one. I can right click here, or I can right click in the work area, and under group properties I'm going to change this to a running stitch. That's going to end up being the running stitch placement line for our fabric. And then I'm going to click on the color stop here, click all three of these. So I'm holding down the color stop, the running stitch, and both of the running stitches. I'm going to go edit, copy, edit, paste, and I'm going to select these two like I did before, right click and group properties, and I'm going to change this to a double stitch, which is going to be my tack down. And the only other thing I want to do, I'm going to grab this color stop. When I copied and pasted, it came in as blue, and I want it to be a different color when I'm over at the machine, just so that it will, do a color stop between the placement line and the tack down line and the satin stitch. So I'm going to just put in, just a green, doesn't matter. There we go. And if we watch this playback now, you will see the placement line. Lay down your fabric, you'll get your tack down line in green, and then you trim your fabric, and you'll finish it off with your satin stitch at the end, and you should have a completed monogram at that size.